Greetings and welcome to the Healthy Sales Chick Show. I am Nancy White, the host of this show, and here we talk about our healthy mind, our body, and our spirit. And everything we do affects our mind, our body, and our spirit, either positively or negatively. And if we don't nurture all three of those every single day, one of those areas are going to start going, "Excuse me, you forgot about me," and they'll probably start acting up a little bit. But I love our founder, Paula Fellingham, and she always says, "We welcome you with open arms and open hearts." And again, here we'd love to talk about nourishing that mind, that body, that spirit. And just a quick question for you. When was the last time you had a healthy, nourishing cell makeover? Well, we'll talk about that later on too. But I absolutely adore having amazing guests with their expertise that they can just share so that we can learn. And yes, I am a lifelong learner. Even at 72, I want to continue to keep learning every single day something new. And Lolita Cleveland is an incredible, beautiful woman. And she is going to be talking about some things today that we don't want to ignore, because if we ignore it again, it's going to let us know about it. But Lolita, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today.
Thank you, Nancy. I am so grateful. Thank you.
Oh, well, I'm going to just share a little bit about what we're going to touch on. But Lolita Cleveland is a mindset coach and a small business expert. And she and I are going to talk about some things about positive and empowering mindset. We're going to talk about nurturing that healthy mindset. And we're going to just touch on again challenging self limiting beliefs. And yes, we all have them, goal setting and achievement, and why that's so important and how to, and then also cultivating resilience and mindfulness. A little bit about Lolita. She is a certified mindset coach with over 38 years, and she does not look like it at all. But 38 years, she probably started when she was 5 years of experience with the federal government. And she transitioned from a successful career into now she is empowering women, entrepreneurs, to become confident, empowered, and financially independent. And yes, you can too. But she is wants to continually use that experience. She combines that expertise that she has, and also, again, using those setting goals with financial management to guide women on their journey to success. And again, as a former top seller and sales director at a direct sales company, Lolita knows what it takes to thrive in a competitive environment. She is passionate about sharing her knowledge to uplift and inspire other women to reach their fullest potential. Welcome again, Lolita. And I love asking this question. You have definitely influenced a lot of people over the last several decades. But would you share just a little bit about what it was that guided you to where you are today?
Well, Nancy, I had a transition in 2021, and I think everything in my life has led me to this point. But in 2021, there was something that was missing, something that I felt stuck. And I felt like I wasn't making a difference. And there was something just going on inside of me. And I was like, I don't know what it is. And so I did seek, some mentorship so that I could just find out why I felt that way. And lo and behold, the thing that I found is that I really wanted to be of more assistance to women and their mindset, because I've watched women over the years just be stuck where they are. And they knew that they wanted more in their lives, but they just could not move from point A to point B. And so they were always talking about how they were too old, how they weren't good enough, that they didn't have the education, that they came from a particular background. And that is what motivated me to just go and become a certified mindset coach.
Well, Lolita, and you know, a lot of times when we observe others and we see the areas that they're lacking in, and they, just like you said, they feel stuck, especially, and you know, women go through different seasons of life. You know, you're
Yes.
you grow up, a lot of get married, they have children, they, become empty nesters, they do all these different seasons. And every season we have to continually have that renewing of the mind. And so, for women that you saw, that self-limiting beliefs, what can you share a little bit about the symptoms of self-limiting beliefs and some areas that you start helping to go through to be able to reverse that?
One of the things is that they're always saying what they can't do. I just cannot do this, or who will listen to me? Well, I don't have that kind of experience. I don't have a degree, so who's going to listen to me? And so those were like some of the things that you would just hear over and over again. And and it just began to really sadden me, because you see the potential, you see how great someone is, and then to limit themselves and not be willing to move from one place to another. It was sad. It really is sad, because we all have so much to offer and we have so much to give. And one of the things that I just think about all the time is that God gave gifts to each and every one of us, and I don't want to waste any of the gifts that He has given me. I want to just live my life to the fullest. And I want to help other women do that. And so, it's like just recognizing where you are. And sometimes we can't even see it. And sometimes we need somebody else to help us by asking us questions to be able to see why we're stuck, why we can't move, and what we need to do next.
That is amazing, Lolita, too, because sometimes even when we get asked a question and we don't have the answer, and we're going, I don't know. And, when you're talking about, what do you believe? And, all these different things. And especially when you see a good, great quality in somebody and just, really build that up and lift them up, and just going, you probably don't even realize that, but do you realize that you make everybody feel comfortable when you're around them and they're whatever it is, and you've got amazing gifts and talents with becoming a resource for others, or seeing those good things in people and pulling out the good things first and foremost. That's what I love to do, even in health and wellness. I ask, tell me all the great things that you're doing for yourself first and foremost,
Yes.
that you take for granted. And
Mm-hmm.
but they are sewing into your life. So when you're talking with women, especially, and asking them those questions, and they just really can't come up with an answer, Lolita, what other little direction do you sort of take them into to explore a little bit more?
So, I might even ask them, what are your strengths? What are
Mhm.
you really good at? What has somebody complimented you on? Just take a moment and look back at your past and tell me exactly, where did you have a win? Where did you have a victory? And typically they can go back, and sometimes, it's things that you've forgotten. And then you're like, oh wow, I did do that. Because we as women, sometimes we downplay our strengths, and we don't realize how great we are, because we diminish everything. We're like, oh, yeah, that was nothing. But every time you have, if you're in direct sales, every time you step out of your comfort zone and you talk to somebody, well, that's a win.
Mhm.
That is a win. Every time that you make a sale, that's a win.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter the amount. It's like you stepped out of your comfort zone and you did something that you were afraid to do, and you got a victory.
Absolutely. And then the other thing too is the bonus is, and the other person benefited. And so,
Exactly.
you were brave and you did the actions, you took the steps. And yes, you need to pat yourself on the back, because most women, we get something done, Lolita, and then all of a sudden we're off to the next thing. And I'm going, whoa, stop.
Yes.
You have to acknowledge the things that you've done, celebrate those little things. And I'll tease some women sometimes. I'll go, you know what? You have to take a bath anyway. So I said, put on a candle, put on some music, and just, enjoy your bath time is a celebration time. You're multitasking. So then,
Exactly.
some of the benefits that you were also sharing a little bit about too, as far as the transformation is, it reduces the stress levels. It does different things. It fosters that empowerment and fulfillment. Have you seen the before and afters a lot?
I have seen it because one person in particular, I mean, very shy. She was very shy. And just watching her transformation over the years and how confident she became and how she could talk to people because before she couldn't at
Mhm.
all, and how she can now, it's amazing. And it just warmed your heart to see such growth. uh and so and I see another, think of another one. It's like she wanted to be able to talk to people and everything else, but she was terrified. And now she has her own business, and she's talking to people, and she's doing live video and the whole nine yards. So it's amazing to
Mhm.
watch that.
That is incredible. And a lot of times, or sometimes, things that have been passed on from generation or things that have been said to
Yes.
us, like you said, they used to say, don't talk to strangers, don't do this,
Hmm.
and or somebody used to say, you're just shy, you just must be so shy. And they're hearing that, and
Hmm.
it's not the truth. It's,
Right.
and so then when you have to come against those limiting beliefs, you know,
Hmm.
just like you said, we've got so many gifts and talents that God's given us, and we want to be able to have them flourish and continually to grow, to be able to serve others. I mean, it's great for us as being the very best that we can be, but it's always to serve others. And so, one of the other areas that I love very much, that you like also is that goal setting and achievement. And
Hmm.
we say if you don't write it down or whatever, blah blah blah. And
Hmm.
even though we've got great technology and people use technology, I still like my paper
Oh,
and
yes.
pad, and just to be able to write some things down and then to be able to check them off, or even setting up some goals. I like setting up annual goals, not resolutions.
Mhm.
We just are going through and do renovations and those types of things. But tell me a little bit how you help people as far as setting those and achieving goals.
Mhm. So, one of the things that I like to do is just to really get clarity. What do they really, really want? Because sometimes we say we want something, but that's not really what we want. And so, really getting in there, asking lots of questions to find out, is that really what you want?
Mhm.
And then once we define that goal and everything, then what we do is make it very specific. Okay, so say for instance, okay, I want to build a business. Okay, well, what kind of business do you want to build? uh how much money do you want to make in that business? What is the business about? Who's your target market? Really taking it step by step to
Mhm.
get clarity, to figure out, we can look at the whole picture, but then we take the whole picture away and
Mhm.
we break it down to the very basic step. Okay, so today, because I know that your goal is to make $10,000, so what can we do today in order to move you forward to that goal? Because if we look at that big goal, sometimes it begins to get overwhelming.
Mhm.
And when people are overwhelmed, what do? They shut down and they do nothing. And so if I can, we could say, okay, today your goal is to basically sell $10 or what have you. Well, $10, that might not be overwhelming to somebody. So take this step. Your step today is to just go talk to this person. Don't even worry about the sales. Don't
Mhm.
worry about that. Just become a friend,
Yeah.
become someone that, you want to be in service to, and
Mhm.
be a servant and listen to their heart and find out what they need so
Mhm.
that you can move them forward.
Absolutely. And I love it because I, for myself too, setting those goals, and then I reverse engineer, just like you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about. You see, this is what it is, and then reverse engineer and find out what that very next step is. And if you need help, ladies, please ask. I mean, we're ladies, I mean, we'll spend hours and hours trying to figure something out. And you could just, find out somebody, or talk to somebody and get some information. There is lots of support for women
Yes.
out there that they don't know about in business. And it's, free information, free training, all kinds of things. And so I think, that was very interesting. We reverse engineering to those steps. What's the next step?
Mhm.
And when you were talking about too, becoming paralyzed because it's so overwhelming, that's the beginning of procrastination. It's like,
Yes.
it's like people go, I just procrastinate and everything. I'm sitting there going, no, you just don't have a clear picture of what you need to do next in the next step. And then finding somebody that will cheer them on and be an accountability partner. You
Yes.
know, if we were supposed to do life by ourselves, we'd be here all by ourselves, and we're not. So
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
So I think, when you come across some people that just really need to have that cheerleader, that person, you're the kind of person they need to connect with, and just, and some of the benefits also, with you were mentioning too, is all these changes do contribute to a healthier lifestyle.
Yes.
Because when you feel good about yourself, you want to take care of yourself. And we've always talked about self-care. It's not selfish or whatever. But if we don't really feel good and we don't feel like we're confident in being our very best self,
Mhm.
then that's where it also is a big challenge too. So, you know, nourishment every single day in those areas, Lolita, that you're just talking about. It's not so overwhelming when you do
Mhm.
break it down into those tiny little
Exactly.
steps. So, and that just goes right into when we were talking about, resilience and mindfulness, because the more that we do something, the more that we get built up. It's like our armor is getting built up more and
There
more.
you go.
Mhm.
There you go. Yes, I
So
agree.
how do you guide people into more realizing about how important resilience is? Because there's going to be the next trial, the next test, or whatever. Is
Mhm.
not, a once and done thing.
Now, and you know what? Every time we fail, because we're all going to fail at something, every time we fail and we take a moment, we assess, we look back and say, what can I glean from this situation? How can I improve? We take that information and we go on to the next. We become, like you say, stronger and stronger. And so it's like bouncing back from one thing to the next and recognizing that you're not going to succeed at everything. We are going to fail at something because this is about a learning process. We are learning and we are growing every day. And and that's what we do. We learn, we grow, we make mistakes, we get back up, and it's armor. Like you said, it is like armor, and that armor is just, we put it on and we're like, whoo, I'm back. And we just keep learning and growing.
Mhm. Oh, can you share just a little bit to Lolita about yourself,
Mhm.
and just how the things that you do to, again, for your resilience and your managing stress and doing your emotions, because sometimes when we just sort of fly off the handle because life situation happened and we didn't have it planned for and didn't see it
Mhm.
coming, you know. So what are some things that you do for yourself that really have helped you when you can just sort of stop and reflect back?
Well, one of the things is daily Bible reading. So I start my day off by reading the Bible and praying. So that is the first thing that I do. Because what I have found is that if I have not done that and something happens throughout the day, I am not equipped to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And so starting my day off that way, then I do my meditation. And then I will also do a couple of other things in the morning. I do my exercise and that type of stuff. So that all helps me because I want my mind to be healthy, but I also want to have my body healthy. And so that's how I start my day off so that I am prepared mentally for whatever might happen throughout the day. And I can tell you that lots of things have have happened just over the last month and a half
Mhm.
that I had to be prepared for. And I don't think, that I would have been prepared if I had not, been doing my Bible readings or anything of that nature. So that's what I do. Another thing that I do is like in the middle of the day, I take breaks. I
Mhm.
rest. I might have a cup of tea. I might sit down on my sofa, or I'll go have a conversation with my husband, and we just chit chat and everything else. So it's not work, work, work. It's taking time to regroup mentally and then come back later and then start again.
Absolutely. And you've been doing it, and I do the same thing. I mean, I'll tell people my foundations are, my quiet time,
Mhm.
my jet fuel nutrition, and exercising, because we
Mhm.
have to take care again of that mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
And so when it becomes part of your habits daily, good practices,
Mhm.
beneficial practices, practices with benefits, then when we don't do it and life happens or whatever, we miss it. We
Yes.
miss that part of being in it. And so what would you suggest to some people, just like you said, when life happens and we didn't see it coming, and all of a sudden we're doing our mindfulness, we're doing all these things, and we're practicing, and the resilience and doing all that. And then life happens.
Mhm.
How do you suggest to people to sort of get back up again? Because, you know, it happens to all of us. We don't see it coming.
Yeah. So, what I would suggest is that take some time, extra time
Mhm.
away and just sit with yourself. And that's a hard thing for us to do, is to sit with ourselves
Mhm.
and really acknowledge your feelings, what it is that you're feeling. You can journal it, you can pray about it, but really sitting down and taking extra time to get in touch with your emotions and what you're feeling. Because if you don't do that and we're constantly going and going and going and doing and doing and doing, all of a sudden it's like there's an explosion
Mm.
and your emotions are everywhere because you have not dealt with them.
Yeah.
So that is really what I would suggest, just taking extra time to take care and just to be with yourself.
Absolutely. And I think, going through grief and going through disappointment, those types of things, you have to acknowledge those emotions, and that we're all
Mhm.
human.
Yes.
There's been days, over the last year, whatever, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just, I stay choked up and I feel like just crying all day. And some
Mhm.
days I'll just say, Lord, this is one of those days you're gonna have to carry me in your arms, because you know what? I'm done. So
Yes.
but you have to acknowledge it, and you have to be able to, go through it. And
Yes.
so, and I think it's amazing too, because we're not alone.
No.
There's always been somebody that has gone through similar or the same things that we're going through. And it's
Mhm.
amazing how paths cross, and they can come in to support each other and to be able to encourage each other, and again, lifting us up. So
Yes.
as far as being in business, so that's one of the things that you've also, over the last couple of decades, have really been become an expert and expertise in small businesses. What would you say to women, especially that are either starting out or they're inventing themselves for their business? What would you look at and just say, you know what, this is an area that you can go into and make sure that you are getting all these things to be put in place for your business, because technology's changed like crazy lately.
Mhm.
I mean, since you
Mhm.
and I started, I mean, I left corporate America 40 years ago. And so, there's been a lot of changes. So, what would you suggest to these ladies?
One of the things that I would suggest is that stay up with the trends, really. And I hear this over and over again. I don't like technology. I'm just too old for technology. And I'm like, what? And, technology makes things easier. It
Mhm.
really does. The other thing that I would really say also is to pay attention to your financials,
Mm.
because one of the things that I have found is that sometimes we're running a business and we're not looking at our finances. We're not looking at the income, that's coming in and the expenses that are going out, not until the end of the year when it's time to file taxes. And by that time, it's too late.
It is. You
It's
need
too
to take some
late.
more deductions, and it's a little bit too late. Yeah.
Exactly. So really pay attention to your finances, and if that's not your forte, then find somebody who's going to take care of that for you so that you know exactly where you are and where this business is going, and so that you have a healthy business. Because I'm telling you, it's very stressful when you get ready to file your tax return and you find out that you owe $12,000.
I know. I would tell women a lot of times it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And so
Yes.
you want to make sure that you've got wise counsel. And again,
Yes.
there's tons of women's business centers all over this country and even online. I mean,
Yes.
there's all kinds of places
Mm-hmm.
that have these experts, and it doesn't cost a lot because a lot of times they're volunteers of people that are retired or whatever that would love to come alongside of you and just to be able to help guide. Um, and so, but I think that's so important for people to know, again, what's coming in, what's going out, and
Yes.
then are planning for, we all pay taxes, but you all have to know the things that, especially when you're in business for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
those things that you can use for deductions. I think I heard a statistic a few years ago, Lolita, said that 60 billion with a B
Mm-hmm.
dollars fell through the cracks for the IRS for small businesses that did not take all their deductions.
Mm-hmm.
$60 billion. And I'm sitting there going, did the IRS get in touch with anybody and go, oh, by the way, you should have, could have, would have?
Absolutely not.
So, but yes, I think it's really important for people to know, and they
Mm-hmm.
change all the time. So,
Yes.
I mean, you need to talk to that expert. You need to know who's keeping up. That's their gift and talent, where they're keeping up with all the different laws and the things that could be taken for, and be mindful, you know,
Exactly.
and it's timing. It's always about timing also. So I knew our time was going to be going
Oh
faster and
my.
faster as we were going through. So is there any other tips or anything, Lolita, that
Oh
you would
my
love to
goodness.
share? Yeah.
The thing that I would say is that really celebrate yourself.
Mhm.
Celebrate your wins, celebrate your victories, and stop being so hard on yourself.
Mhm.
Because talk to yourself the way your most compassionate friend would talk to you. So don't beat up on yourself. Don't call yourself dumb, stupid, or any of those names and everything else. Be kind and be compassionate to yourself.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I would say is to really, really watch your thoughts. Watch what you're thinking on a daily basis, because if you're thinking a certain way, those thoughts will manifest themselves. And that's why it's so important to rehearse daily positive things and say who you are and what you are and what it is that you are achieving. Just rehearse it every day instead of those negative things, because we've got enough negative stuff coming in on a daily basis. And we want to make sure that we're putting positive information into our brains.
Absolutely, because
Thanks.
it takes 7 positives to overcome every one negative we either speak to ourselves or we hear. And something I started years and years ago, because usually when women look in the mirror, we automatically see the things that are not as we think they should be. And
Yes.
so when I look in the mirror, Lolita, I go, oh Lord, thank you so much for making me just the way I am. I am cute, I'm happy, and I love myself. And thank you so much. And if you want to make anything better, improve it, just let me know and I'll work with you.
I love that.
We'll
I
do
love
this
that.
together. Oh my gosh. So Lolita, what is the easiest way for people to get in touch with you?
You know what? They can find me on LinkedIn under Lolita Cleveland 1. So that would be the easiest way, Lolita Cleveland 1.
I love it, love it, love it. And so is there anything new that's coming up for you that you would love to share about?
No, I have nothing new right now, but the only thing right now that I am doing is I'm doing just a series of lives on
Mhm.
LinkedIn. So they can join me there. I'm typically there between 1 and 2 o'clock every day. And yeah, we're talking about all sorts of things, imposter syndrome, fear, the whole 9 yards. So visit me there.
I know I've loved watching some of your lives, and it's always fun and encouraging because we all need to have those reminders, those things. And just like you said, that self chatter that we do all the time,
Mhm.
you can just zip it and you can just go, like, you know, if it's not building me up, then it's not doing anybody any good either. So
Exactly.
we can ask ourselves those good questions. So I'm so grateful, Lolita, again for you taking time, and I'd love to have you come back sometime and share some more of your expertise if your time allows. And in the meantime, I encourage everyone to check out some of the other Win-Win Women TV shows. And, we've got great ways to become encouraged, inspired, and educated. And get in touch with me, Nancy at The Healthy Sales Chick, or go to my website, thehealthysaleschick.com. I would love to hear what you're doing for your self care so you don't have to depend on healthcare. But also, if there's any areas that I can help and make suggestions with my 40 plus years of experience in creating those healthy lifestyles, would love to share that. But again, Lolita, thank you so much for your valuable time today.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, Nancy.